We are diving deep into the lives of two legacy characters who are about to cross paths in a way that defies all logic and history. It seems like the writers are preparing to completely reinvent Sonny Corinthos, and high chances are this transformation is going to involve Anna Devane in a capacity we never could have predicted. For decades, Sonny has been the undisputed mob kingpin of Port Charles, a man whose entire identity was wrapped up in underworld dealings, violence, and territorial control. But as we have recently seen, a monumental shift has occurred. Sonny has made the shocking decision to step away from the mob life, primarily to protect Jason Morgan's son, Danny, from the inherent dangers of that world. This is not just a temporary hiatus. This is a permanent retirement from the shadows. And what if this massive life change is exactly what catches the eye of Police Commissioner Anna Devane? The truth might be way more complicated than a simple career change. It seems like Anna is starting to look at Sonny through an entirely different lens, seeing not the ruthless criminal of the past, but a man desperately trying to build a legitimate, peaceful life for the sake of his family. High chances are that their paths will cross in the most unexpected of arenas, the upcoming auction of Jen Sidwell's seized assets. Sidwell left behind a massive portfolio of properties and illicit holdings when he was finally taken down, and it seems like Sonny is eyeing these assets as the foundation for his new legitimate business empire. But how does a former mob boss secure such high-profile, legally entangled properties without raising massive red flags? What if Anna Devane is secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes to ensure Sonny wins those bids? The unconfirmed leaks suggest that Anna will act as a silent partner, a shadow ally using her immense influence and resources to clear the red tape and help Sonny acquire Sidwell's empire. This drastic storyline shift would position the police commissioner as the secret benefactor of the town's former top criminal. It seems like Anna truly believes in Sonny's redemption arc and is willing to risk her own pristine reputation to help him succeed in a legitimate business. The truth might be way more complicated than just a business arrangement, ladies. What if this secret alliance at the asset auction is merely the catalyst for a much deeper, far more intimate connection? High chances are that as they work together in the shadows, navigating the treacherous waters of corporate acquisitions and legal loopholes, they will begin to rely on each other in ways neither ever anticipated. It seems like Sonny, stripped of his mob armor, is allowing himself to be vulnerable, and Anna is drawn to this newfound sincerity. We have to consider the sheer magnetism of these two powerful figures joining forces. What if their late-night strategy sessions over Sidwell's properties turn into deeply personal conversations about their past regrets, their current fears, and their hopes for the future? The behind-the-scenes whisper is that their dynamic will crackle with an unspoken tension, a mutual respect that rapidly evolves into something profoundly emotional. But here's where the hush-hush rumor takes a dark and incredibly compelling turn. As we all know, Anna Devane is currently fighting a terrifying internal battle. She has been suffering from severe, debilitating hallucinations of the late diabolical Peter August. These visions have been pushing her down a destructive path of paranoia and vengeance, threatening to completely unravel her sanity. High chances are that Anna has been desperately trying to hide this mental health crisis from everyone, including her closest friends and family. But what if she cannot hide it from Sonny? It seems like Sonny, of all people, will be the one to recognize the subtle signs of her unraveling. The truth might be way more complicated than Anna just having a bad day. Sonny, who has lived with bipolar disorder for decades, intimately understands the agonizing nuances of a mind betraying itself. He knows what it looks like when someone is drowning in their own head. What if Sonny accidentally witnesses one of Anna's terrifying episodes? Imagine the scene, Anna cornered by a vivid hallucination of Peter, visibly trembling, losing her grip on reality, and Sonny walking in at that exact moment. High chances are that instead of reacting with fear or judgment, Sonny will step up in a way that will melt her heart. It seems like he will not treat her like she is broken or dangerous. Instead, the unconfirmed leak suggests that Sonny will become her anchor. What if he gently talks her down, using his own experiences with mental health struggles to guide her back to reality? The truth might be way more complicated than a simple rescue. Sonny could become the only person in Port Charles who truly understands the depth of Anna's psychological torment. This shared vulnerability could forge a bond between them that is stronger than steel. It seems like Sonny's unwavering patience and genuine care will be the turning point for Anna. High chances are that she will realize that this man, whom she once chased and tried to lock up, is now her ultimate protector. What if Sonny spends his evening sitting quietly with Anna, holding her hand, and simply being a grounding presence when the ghost of Peter August threatens to consume her? The behind-the-scenes whisper indicates that Sonny's tender, Non-judgmental support will allow Anna to finally breathe, to finally feel safe. The truth might be way more complicated than just friendship. This level of emotional intimacy, this profound trust, is the exact recipe for a sweeping, epic romance. It seems like Anna will begin to look at Sonny not just as an ally, but as a savior. A man whose own dark past has uniquely equipped him to help her survive hers. And what if this emotional reliance blossoms into a full-blown, passionate romance? High chances are that the writers are gearing up to cross that line, taking Sonny and Anna from unlikely confidants to secret lovers. It seems like the transition will be slow, simmering, and absolutely undeniable. Imagine the sparks flying when they finally acknowledge the shift in their relationship. What if a moment of intense vulnerability, perhaps after a particularly grueling hallucination, where Sonny holds her until she stops shaking, culminates in a deeply passionate kiss? The unconfirmed leak points to a romance that is built on mutual healing, a mature, profound love story between two people who have survived the absolute worst the world has to throw at them. The truth might be way more complicated than a fleeting affair. This could be the defining relationship of Sonny's new, legitimate life. Of course, a drastic storyline shift of this magnitude will send massive shockwaves throughout Port Charles. What if Carly finds out? High chances are that Carly will absolutely lose her mind when she discovers that her ex-husband, the father of her children, is secretly romancing the police commissioner. It seems like Carly will view this as the ultimate betrayal, completely unable to comprehend how Sonny and Anna could ever make sense together. The truth might be way more complicated, as Carly is currently entangled with Valentine Cassadine, who just happens to be Anna's former flame. The behind-the-scenes whisper is that the jealousy, the hypocrisy, and the explosive confrontations between these four characters will provide enough drama to fuel the show for an entire year. What if Valentine, realizing that Anna has moved on with his bitter rival Sonny, decides to launch a vendetta that threatens to destroy everything Sonny is trying to build? It seems like Sonny and Anna will have to fight tooth and nail to protect their fragile new love from the external forces trying to tear them apart. High chances are that they will keep their romance a closely guarded secret for as long as possible, meeting in clandestine locations, sharing stolen glances across crowded rooms, and reveling in the delicious thrill of their hidden affair. What if Anna's position as police commissioner comes under fire when rumors of her involvement with the former mob boss begin to circulate? The truth might be way more complicated than a simple scandal. Anna could be forced to choose between her lifelong career in law enforcement and the man who has brought her back from the brink of insanity. It seems like Sonny would gladly give up his new business empire if it meant keeping Anna safe, proving once and for all that his transformation is genuine. The unconfirmed leak also hints at the beautiful irony of their situation. For years, they stood on opposite sides of the law, engaged in a perpetual game of cat and mouse. And now, high chances are that they are the only two people in the world who can truly save each other. What if Sonny's legitimate business empire, built with Anna's secret help, becomes a massive success, proving to the entire town that redemption is possible? It seems like Anna's faith in him will be the catalyst for his ultimate triumph. The truth might be way more complicated than a simple success story, though. With Jen Sidwell's assets comes a dangerous legacy, and what if elements of Sidwell's criminal past come back to haunt Sonny's new legitimate enterprise? High chances are that Anna will stand right by his side, using her tactical brilliance to protect their future. It seems like we are on the precipice of a golden era for Sonny Corinthos and Anna Devane. The behind-the-scenes whisper is that the writers are fully committing to this pairing, investing heavily in the emotional depth and psychological healing they bring to one another. What if Anna finally banishes the hallucinations of Peter August entirely, not through medication, but through the sheer, grounding force of Sonny's love? High chances are that Sonny's presence will act as a shield against her inner demons. The truth might be way more complicated, but the beauty of this drastic storyline shift lies in its raw humanity. Two broken legends, finding solace and unexpected passion in each other's arms. The emotional stakes have never been higher for these two legacy characters. It seems like the writers are crafting a narrative where love is a literal lifeline. High chances are that Sonny will find a renewed sense of purpose in caring for Anna, realizing his greatest strength is his capacity for empathy. What if this relationship is exactly what Sonny needed to fully wash away the sins of his past? The truth might be way more complicated, but the unconfirmed leak suggests their bond will become the emotional core of the show. As they navigate Port Charles' politics and personal demons, their united front will be a force to be reckoned with. So, ladies, brace yourselves for the ultimate romantic upheaval. It seems like the landscape of Port Charles is shifting beneath our feet, and this hush-hush rumor is just the beginning of a magnificent, chaotic new chapter. But before you get too comfortable dreaming of their happily ever after, let me leave you with this chilling reality check. What if the very shadows they are trying to escape are already closing in, waiting for the perfect moment to strike when they are at their most vulnerable? Keep your eyes wide open, because in this town, a secret this big never stays buried, and the fallout could be deadlier than anyone ever imagined.